How's it going? Colton with J&M Roofing here. We're going to be doing a core sample on this EPDM roof to see if it's a good candidate for our coating system. And what we're going to be doing is checking the composition of this roofing system. So one of the first things we do is we get our area nice and clean, as you can see. And then we're just going to cut an incision here, kind of like a cross. And it's going to be big enough so we can get our tool in here and to be able to do our core sample. So one of the things you got to be careful on is where you're placing your tools, making sure you're not going to cause damage to the rest of the roof while you're doing a core sample. And this is going to get us our core of that composition. So we're just going to open it up here. Hole's just big enough for my tool. And then we're just going to work it back and forth. And I think that's it. I think I'm already hitting the roof decking. So we're going to pull that up, see what we got. Look in, make sure. And yeah, we got some wood decking down there. I can see that we went all the way through it. And now what we're going to look at is this cookie cutter. It's going to show us the composition of this roofing system. Take my measuring tape here. We can see we have 1.5 inches of some iso board. And it looks very, very dry, which is a good sign. Now with EPDM, they have a sealant. This is called Sure Seal by EPDM, for EPDM. And we're just going to go ahead and put this system back together now that I know what's in there. Normally I grab a nice picture with my phone, but since I got a recording going, I'll just use a picture off of that video. There we go. I'm just going to open that back up and get my core sample back in there. Get a little bit of that EPDM sealant inside there. Make sure to have plenty of rags with you. Sometimes it gets a little messy. I'll save the full cleanup till afterwards, but just so I get a little bit clean from my hands here. And then I'm going to just put some of this right underneath this EPDM layer to get it back on top of there. I like to push this down just a little bit, make sure it gets on there nice and clean. Okay, now we're going to get our EPDM patch ready. What we're going to first do is put a little bit of primer on there. As you can tell, this has been used on a lot of different jobs here. Doesn't take much, but it's EPDM tape primer. We're just going to open this up, pour a little bit on here. Now the thing with EPDM primer is you want to make sure that you give it time to dry a little bit. So I like to spread it around a little bit here. And then we're just going to wait a few seconds to make sure this EPDM primer gets a little bit tacky. Got to get a nice, smooth layer there. A little bit extra on my rag, that's okay. Make sure to keep all your trash together too. And while that's drying a little bit, I'm going to get my EPDM patch ready. Here we got EPDM's got a layer on the top section. And the bottom section has a sticky tape on it there. And with our primer that's on there, it's really going to seal pretty good. So it's going to be our patch. It's going to wait a few seconds, few minutes there for this to get primer set. And with that, we're going to put our tools away. There we go. As you can see already, it's already setting up. You can see how it likes to pull and get some strings there on me. That's what you want to see. That means your primer is getting ready and it's going to have a nice adhesive cure here to our patch. I'm going to let it sit just for a few more seconds. So while I do that, I'm going to use my citrus care from Conklin to clean my hands off. I am glad I have this. My wife's glad I have this. If I come home like this at the end of the day, it's just not going to be good for my marriage. So I get that in there nice and good. Look at that. Look at it just coming right off. It used to be a long time at the sink. Now it just takes seconds right on the roof. Get that worked in there real good. Grab another one of my paper towels and just wipe it off like magic. Probably should have grabbed a paper towel before I started wiping that on me, but that's okay. Look at that. I have to work into my fingernails. That will still have to be done at home. But look at how that's just wiping right off. There we go. Just a quick wipe right there. Make sure even though I got the gun disengaged, it's still leaking a little bit. Make sure you have it over paper towel. I have it right here by my knee, so I got to make sure my jeans are taken care of, that I don't get too far over. All right, now it's time to put our patch on. So we're going to go ahead and take this patch off. You can make some more of these patches if you don't have any. Just get some EPDM tape and cut them. And you can see where this one was cut on this edge, and then it's got a little bit of that sealant on the outside there. So we're just going to go ahead and lay this down directly over our incision. We'll push that down. And then we have a nice roller here. We're going to make sure we get it nice and secure. So we're going to roll that out, make sure that whole patch is taken care of. Make sure we get a good contact on this. We want to stop leaks. We don't want to cause new ones. Now, some people would just think that that's good enough, but we're going to go an extra step. We're going to use our EPDM here. Sure Seal. We're just going to go along this outside edge here where we cut and make sure we get a nice bead here right along that outside edge. Come on both sides here. There we go. Now some guys, they don't care what it looks like because most people aren't going to see it up here, but I like to take my finger, just smooth it out, make sure it's making contact on the patch and on the roof. Takes me back to when I was a kid with finger paints. I'm painting with sealant. Just make sure I get a good seal there. There we go. As Bob Ross would say, it's a nice happy seal now. Get that other side here. Sometimes it sticks and kind of follows your hand. Just want to make sure we don't get a bunch of raised areas to hold water. And there we go. We have a nice effective patch. We know the composition of this roof, and we know that it's an excellent candidate for our coating system. So we'll be able to prep this roof, get it cleaned off. We'll be able to do a nice primer and base coat. We'll be able to reinforce fabric into the seams, into our base coat, and then we'll be able to put one single top coat on here and seal this roof up. Thanks for watching.